Very good evening to everybody. Hope you can hear me well.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We shall start the session shortly. Students are joining in. Maybe a little bit less students, maybe because of the bad weather. Anyways, session is already started recording. We will wait about 1 minute, maybe. Yeah. After that, we shall start this class. And people who wants to pray, you should have finished the prayers because 6:18 the call for prayers is there, so soon after that you could have finished your Maharib prayers and can join for the session. So after this programming session finishes, I will be starting the video editing session. Okay, right. Let me We will wait about 1 or 2 minutes, then we will start the session. Right. Okay, let them join in. I shared the handout with your coordinator, madam. I think she has shared it with you. Hope you would have got the what do you call the PDF files. Don't worry about the numbers, right? So I think you are getting something like 7 or 9, like the numbers, because in between there are some lessons which I didn't want to confuse you, or I didn't want to take too much of time on that and explain it to you. You know that our third Python class, we learned about list items or lists. List is a memory data structure, okay? Like lists in Python, we have other data structures like sets, dictionaries, and tuples. So that is why these another missing 3 or 4 chapters were there. That's why it was like that. But anyways, when my programming session finishes, or maybe the Python class is finishing, I will be giving you the full handout, which is a full PDF file, which will have from the chapter 1 to maybe chapter 13. Everything will be there, but make sure that I wouldn't have covered everything for you, right? So it's a full thing that you're going to get. All right, slowly we are talking at, and the time is 6:32. We will slowly start the class now, right? Okay, once again, very good evening to everybody, and welcome to the programming eighth, I think, yeah, eighth session today. So we're going to spend nearly 1 hour learning and again something new in Python. And my request to you, all of you, is please practice as much as possible. Please practice the things that I'm giving and be familiar with what we're learning. All right. Okay. You know, our last class, we did 2 sessions actually. One session was a little bit short, which is about functions. We learned about functions and I explained you the things about functions. Uh, function is a bunch of code, or it's a segment of code which can execute when you call that part. So that was a function. Functions can accept values like this. We call them as parameters. And we learned about default argument parameters as well, which means when you're calling the function, if you do not supply the value like this, it will, in in its absence, it will simply use the default value that you have given. All right. Okay. So we learned about that, and we learned how to write a function which can return a value in Python. That also we did, and we practiced that part, and we did some exercises like this. All right. So that is about the functions that we learned last class: how to write a function, how to pass values, how to create functions with default parameters, and how to return values from functions. Right. So that will be enough on functions. Right. The next thing that we're going to learn today is, sorry, not today. We already started last class, which is about conditional statements. We have done quite a bit of this conditional statements. Conditional statements in the sense, when you write a program, it could be any programming language. You know, a computer program is a set of instructions. So when you have a set of instructions, and all the instructions that you have written in a computer program will not run in a given order. There are occasions, or there are circumstances where you have to write a program where you will have to decide whether to run one instruction or the other one, which means simply you need to make a decision to do either to execute one part of the code or another part of the code. When you want to do such kind of a thing, we make use of statements like if-else statements. So this is what we started learning last class. Since I have already discussed with you the things, I have commented them as well for you, and I already shared these two files with you, so you could have practiced them without a problem. I will start the lesson from there itself today. And please remember, when you write an if condition, we call them as conditions. After the word if, what follows is a condition part like this. Condition means something that you're checking, something that you are evaluating, whether this is right, whether this is wrong, whether this is true or not. Okay, so that is what is basically known as a conditional statement. How to write conditionals is how or what I have written here. We practiced a couple of types of conditional statements. You can see the simple if condition that we tried here. I can remove the comment if you want, right? I can just show you. So you write the if word like this, if word like that, and you need to write the condition, which means what are we testing for? What are we checking for? We need to understand one more thing. This checking part, when you do, this should evaluate to true or false value. Based on that true or false value, it will decide whether to do something or not to do something. The other one, when you are building your condition, or in other words, when you are building your criteria, excuse me, we make use of we make use of comparison operators. Comparison operators, in the sense I already explained you. When you write programs, we usually use something like operators and operands like this. Like if you write a plus b, so this is a mathematical operator or operation. Okay, so this symbol here is called a arithmetic operator, which does a plus. If you write a like this is a multiplication operator, this is the operator, and these two are known as operands. Okay, those are known as operands. Well, after that, I want to tell, let's, here we do, if you write, let's say a is 10 and b is 20, right? By looking at the values. Now, if I write something like this, a and b, if I write, a is representing 10, b is representing 20. And in programming languages, we have things called comparison operators. When you want to compare one value with another value, சிங்களங்க அப்படின்னா சன்சந்தனை කරනවා. தமிழ்ல நாங்க சொல்றதுக்கு வந்து ஒப்பிடுதல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒப்பிடுவோம். So when you write is greater or equals to, is less than or equal to, and not equal to. So these are the operators that we usually use. Okay. Now if I write a like this, a is greater than b. A is greater than b. So I'm saying 10 is more than 20. So this is what this symbol tells the computer. Now we need to evaluate this. We need to check whether this is true, because 10 is a smaller value, 20 is a large value. So when you say 10 is more than 20, this will not evaluate to true. It will say false. Okay. That will, this way, it will return to this side false, not true. Okay. So this kind of things we can do. So when you do that in a if condition, that looks like this. You write the word if, right? You use the word if, and you can write x is smaller than 20. Oh, sorry, x is smaller than y. So when you write x is smaller than y, then x is 10, y is 20 means whether this is true or not, we're going to decide, right? And what you do is, if this is the line of the code, we need to indent the code. We need to keep an indentation here and write the statements when this is true, what to do. Okay. So for example, we can write here print. Print, let's say x is the large value. So in this case, if it is true, we say y is the large value. Right? And you can write else. Right? When you say else, you can write print x. Otherwise, it will print X. So here also you can see the indentation. So it is belonging to that part like that, right? Okay, so this is how we do the code, right? Let's take a look at it. Oh, I forgot to type this colon as well here, right? So you have to write the colon and this has to be in simple letters, else. Right, so we will try one of that again, right? Okay. Down here you can see right, let's take a look at this. Right now, if you take a look at this program here, last part we already learned. I'm just because 1 week there's a gap, that's why I'm just recalling this one. I can see here there are occasions when you have more than three combinations of things to be done, right? So we'll take a different examples today, and we can do that part. Okay. I can comment this part and I'll do that for you. Right. Right, I'll comment that. Okay. Let's do a fresh code here, right? Let's take a variable like marks. Okay, let's take a variable like marks and we will put a value like something like, let's say 85. Okay, someone has scored a mark of 85. Now let's assume the teacher wants to give students not pass fail simply. The teacher decides to give grades, okay? And the teacher decides if a student gets more than 80 marks, that student should get a distinction. Okay. Well, if the student gets not more than 80, but more than 70, he should get or she should get a merit pass. More than 60, she wish to give pass, and anybody who gets less than what do you call? Less than 60, it's a fail. Now, student කෙනෙක් අහලා තිනවා දැන් රුචිරා නේ Ruchika. Don't know. RUCHIK, right? handout එකක් අපි දෙනවා නේද? අනිත් ළමයින්ට හම්බෙලා නේද තියෙන්නේ? ළමයි මම දුන්න PDF document එක හම්බුණාද? පොඩ්ඩක් කතා කරන්න බලන්න එක්කෙනෙක්. One of you can you speak please?
ඔව් සර්.
Yeah, ඒක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. coordinator madam ගෙන් ඉල්ල ගන්න. I think that අහපු එක්කෙනා අද join වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මම හිතන class එකට. මම දැන් අප්ඩේට් ක්ලාස් කරගෙන යනකොට ඉස්සරහට එන ටික මම දෙනවා. ඔක්කොම ටික දෙනවා. අනිත් එක තමයි ඔය ළමයි දන්න ඇති මේ මගේ මේ නෝට් මම මෙතන කරගෙන යන කෝඩ් එක තියෙනවානේ. මේ කෝඩ් එක වගේම තමයි මගේ නෝට්ස් ටිකක් තියෙන්නේ. සරල විදිහට තියෙන්නේ. So it's very easy to do to follow that. Okay, madam ගෙන් ඉල්ල ගන්න PDF ටික තියෙනවා. නැත්නම් අද වෙලාවක් තිබ්බොත් මම දාන්නම් ඈ. right, madam ගාව තියෙනවා ඉල්ල ගන්න පුළුවන්. group එකේ දාලා ඇති ටික. ඔයා අදද ජොයින් වෙනවා කියලා මට ප්‍රයිවට් මෙසේජ් එකක් දාන්න ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑමින් වලට අදද ජොයින් උනේ. Right, okay. අපි ඉස්සරහට කරගෙන යමු. We will do this part. So I was explaining you. So the teacher decides to give different type of grades. So students, please remember, there we need four print statements. We will need 4 print statements like this. Print one statement, we need to print distinction. Sorry, distinction. Then we need to print merit. Then we need to print pass, as well as we need to print fail. So all these 4 statements we need to write in my program, okay, in the code I'm going to write. Now I have 4 instructions to select from actually. I can't execute every grade because the student have got a particular marks. For that marks, what is the grade we want to print? We need to do it properly, right? So based on that, let's do the code. I will delete this one. Now I will write if I can write it close by, but okay, let me leave a line. If leaving a space, then I'm saying marks. This is what the student have scored. If it is more than, we will put more than or equal to, right? More than or equals to more than or equals to 80. In that case, then you put a colon and we say if it is more than or equal to 80, we say print, we say distinction. Okay, distinction. Okay, right. Then මෙහෙම නොවෙන්න පුළුවන් ඉපිට ඉල්ලාම ඉරකලාමේ. One person have scored not more than 80 marks, but they have scored more than 70 marks or 70 or above 70, but less than 80, more than 70. In that case, we can print what? We can print another grade, right? So I'm going to check that, like, right, you will write the code elif. Elif is a shortened form for else if, otherwise. Okay, so directly you can't finish, so you say elif, you have to give the condition elif, otherwise you say marks if it is more than or equal to more than or equal to 70. In this case, we say print merit. Now we have checked for two combinations. One, we checked whether it is more than or equal to 80. We don't know if it is true, this will be done. Then we check if it is not that case. Let's assume this is 75 now. If your marks is 75, this condition is not true. If 75 marks is 75. So if 75 is greater than or equal to 80, this condition is not true. So you can't do this. You can't do this. We need to go for the elif part. Elif means otherwise. Otherwise, we are not directly doing anything. We are again evaluating. We make sure the marks variable has a value which is more than or equal to 70. We make sure that, right? Because of that, we print merit here. Okay, let's go again. We'll say elif marks is more than or equals to 60. In that case, we say print pass, right? Pass. Finally, you just type else, which means none of the above conditions are met. It is not more than 80. We check whether it is above 70. No, it is not even 70 more than. Again, we check whether it is more than or equal to 60. ඒකත් නෑ. එහෙමත් ඉල්ල. අපිටීම ඉල්ල. එහෙනම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම 60 වලට අඩුයිනේ. அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பா வந்து 60க்கு குறைவா தான் எடுத்திருப்பாங்க. அப்ப எதுவும் செக் பண்ண தேவையில்ல நமக்கு. print කරන්න පුළුවන් fail නේද? check කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. අපි කෙලින්ම මෙතන fail කියලා දානවා. එතකොට ළමයි බලන්න අප පාරங்க 4 statement 1 2 3 4. I have 4 options or 4 tasks to do or 4 things I am doing. But at a given time I am not doing all the 4 tasks. ஒரு தடவையில் இந்த நாளையும் செய்யறதில்ல. එකපාරම මේ හතරම කරන්නෙත් නැහැ, කරන්නත් බෑ. ඒක ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙනවා මෙතන තියෙන ලකුණු අනුව. මම මෙතන 75ක් දුන්නොත් මේ කන්ඩිෂන් එක තමයි true වෙන්නේ. Only this part is true, so this will work. Okay. Last week I was explaining this one with a simple example with you, right? If with elif part. So today you have another example for you to try. Okay. So I will put a comment here. Okay. So when you're practicing, you can practice that, right? But please make sure this part is not there in your handout. Okay. This is not in the handout, but I will give you this file as well. Okay, let's see. Let's run this one now. Okay. I will make a first distinction in the layamu, right? Nanga distinction the poem 75 85 I will give. Now I will run the program. Check. So this program is Python demo 8 underscore conditionals dot python, right? Conditionals dot py. So let's run that and see. We can see output is given as distinction. I think spelling mistake. Distinction. Okay, now it's right. Okay, distinction. So correctly, output is coming. Right, now we will change the value here. අපි එක 75 කරලා බලමු. නම් අද 75 මාති පාපම්. How to make a variable. Then කෙනෙක් අහනවා how to make a variable. Akita. Students, we learned that neither. That was the very first class. One person is asking how to make variables. අනිත් අය පොඩ්ඩක් ආන්සර් කරන්න බලන්න ළමයි. මේක already ඉගෙන ගත්ත ළමයි. අපේ first class එක අපි කරා variables කියන්නේ නේද කරේ ළමයි? Students, are you listening to me? No one is here. මොකද්ද කරේ කියලා මතක නැද්ද හැමෝටම? Huh? Can you hear me first of all? We did this part. Yes sir, we did. ඔය තියෙන්නේ මේක අපි කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේවා. ගොඩක් කල් නේවා කරලා. මේ මම hand out දීලා තියෙනවා වලට. එහෙනම් අලුතෙන් join වෙන්න තියෙමුණොත්. That's I can't do everything from beginning. මේ දින Python handouts ටික බලන්න මේ chapter ටික. මේ තියෙන්නේ first handout එක ඔයාලට දුන්නා. This is the first handout which I gave you, right? අර තව ළමයෙක් ඇහුවනේ මගෙන් දැන් handout තියනවාද කියලා. මේ තියෙන්නේ මේ ඔයාලට දුන්නා from the comments we have done. Right after that, what I have started is variables. Videos ටික බලන්න ගිහිල්ලා. Akita බුලත්ගම. Akita. හරිද? please එක ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න. මේක තියෙනවා handout එකේ තියෙනවා. මගේ videos වල ඇති. පළවෙනි video එක බලන්න ගිහිල්ලා. එතකොට පළවෙනි video එක බලන්න. ඒක මම මේ lesson එක cover කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒක බලන්න. හරිද? right. ඊට පස්සේ strings කරලා තියෙනවා. ඔය දෙක තමයි පළවෙනි handout එකේ තියෙන්නේ. right? okay. අපි බලමු ඊට ටික. right, we will continue the lesson. right. දැන් ඔබ බලමු මේක run කරලා වෙනස් කරා. so අපි run කරනවා. right. so there you can see it is coming as merit. so මේක true වෙනවා. මේක true නේ නෑ. because this is not true, it can't execute this part. Because this part is true, it is executing this part. right. after that what happens is අපි මේක තව වෙනස් කරමු. right. අපි දාමු 63ක් විතර දාමු. right. 69ක් දාමුකෝ ලංකාවේ famous number ගන්න 69. right. so we'll put 69 there and we'll run that. so එතකොට pass. okay, we get pass. Then we'll put a value which is less than 60. Anything which is less than 60 is a fail. Even if it is 59, it's fail. Okay. Right. So I will give it a value like 45. Obviously, we know that is fail. When you execute the code, we should get the grade as fail. Yes, it's coming as fail. Right. Now what we will do next is this code you should practice. Okay. You should practice this code. I'm going to teach you something extra now because I'm going to show you how you can take a value from the keyboard and how to display that. Later, I will modify the same code. You give the marks from the keyboard and you display whether it is pass or a fail. All right. Now watch this. I'm going to comment this for you. Let me do it here. It's taking a keyboard input. Okay, taking a keyboard input. Right. So if you want to output something or if you want to print something on the screen, this is the command that you use, print command. Okay, and you say just take keyboard, taking a keyboard input. Right. Yeah. When you say like this, what happens is this will simply be printed on the screen, right? See, whatever you give with the print, with the double quotes or single quotes, it will be simply printed. Now, if you want to say, enter your name, and you want to display whatever the user types, right? Okay. Let's try that. Okay. Let's try that. How to take an input, right? Now see how to take that. Let's say name is assigned the value. Okay. Name, assign the value. There's a command called input. Just like print, there's a command called input. Open parentheses and you just type, it says prompt. It says you just give a message here So which is useful for which will be useful for the user who reads this one, and they will type a value, right? We'll say enter your name like this. Okay. Now if I run this code, right? If I run the code, you will see my prompt is waiting here, right? So it didn't come to exactly to the next line. It didn't automatically come to the next line. It is waiting for me. So I can type my name, right? Let's type John Doe here. Let's say that's my name, John Doe. And if I press the enter key, when I do press my enter key, whatever the value that you typed will be stored in this variable name. And I'm not using it here. Okay, right. Let's run this. So simply the program finishes. Right, now I'm going to write another command called print, and I put a F string. Right, we'll say you entered your name as name. Okay, like this. Now, if I run the program now, you will get, I'll make this one a little bit bigger. Now see, we run the program. It's asking for me to enter the name. Let's type the name. We'll type something like, this time we'll type Kevin. We'll press the enter key. It says you entered your name as Kevin, right? So whatever the value that we type is going and getting stored in a variable, and we can use that value in our program further. All right, let's try this time with a number, right? Okay, let's type a number, something like N1 is assigned the value. We'll say input. Let's see whether we might get an error message. Let's say enter a number. Okay, to find the cube. You know what is the cube? Okay, I will just display the number first. Okay. Cube means a number's third power. ඒ කියන්නේ තුන්වෙනි බලයට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ cube அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. Cube කියන්නේ තුන්වෙනි බලය. கணம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் ஒரு நம்பரோட வர்க்கம் கணம், ரைட்? மூணு ஒரே நம்பரை மூணு தடவை நாங்க பெருக்கணும்னு சொன்னா அதுக்கு சொல்றோம் வந்து cube அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, right? Okay. අපි බලමු මේක මොකද්ද කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. dot answer is assigned the value. අපි බලමු n1 is multiplied by 100. And we say print answer is answer. Right. So let's run this one. So it's asking to enter the name. Let's say Sarah Williams. We'll write the name as Sarah Williams. So it says you entered your name as Sarah Williams, and it says enter a number. Let's say 75 and press the enter key. And it says answer is a lot of times 75, 75 prints, and it stops. Okay, that is a problem. Okay, I think this is going crazy. Let me try this. Just 100 times it's getting assigned, right? Yeah, there's a small part was missing because it is simply adding that value again and again with it. I'm sorry about that. Okay, what I did is you can simply understand here what it returns is a text value, enter number. It's a text value what you read from the keyboard. So I need to convert that into integer. So I simply type int, and within parentheses I call the input function. So whatever we take it from the keyboard, it will be converted to numeric, and then you can use it for calculation, right? Okay, so this is a small task or small part that I wanted to show you, right? Okay, so let's comment that also, and we will cut this code and we will paste it before this another example. So if you are practicing at home, you can practice in that order. Now we're going to uncomment this code again. Yeah. Now I'm not going to give 45 marks like this. I'm going to say int. Within parentheses, I'm going to say input. And again, I'm going to say enter student marks. So we're going to request the marks to be entered from the keyboard, and based on the marks, we're going to do something. Okay, based on the marks, we're going to do something. Let's try that. So now we'll run this program. Now you can see enter student mark. This time I'll type 95. Let's say what is the grade that I get. Now I get distinction. Now I will not modify my code again. I will not do any modifications. Let me run the code once again. This time again, it is asking for marks. This time, let's type something like 72. So I will get a merit. Next time I'll run. I don't do any changes to the code. I just ran the program. This time I'll give something like 65. Oh, sorry, it should be 65. I will get a pass. And last time when I'm running, let's give around 24 and I should get a fail grade. Okay, that is how it is working. Now it is a full program for you. You know how to take the keyboard input as well. This example, I showed you how to take a keyboard input, right? How to take the keyboard input. And here I showed you how to take the keyboard input as well and convert that into numeric value. And we stored that in the variable marks, and further things we just simply did. Okay, further things we simply did. Okay, so this was actually our last week lesson, but we didn't go this detailedly, and we were not doing this kind of exercises also last week. Time to time, it's better that we practice these kind of things as well. All right, that's been said. We will move on to the small part what we were doing last class. There was another lesson on that called how do you say? It's called nested if conditions, right? Or nested if, which means inside an if condition, we can write another if condition. Excuse me. Watch this. Sorry about that. I got wet in the rain, so it's a little bit problematic, right? Now see this. X is assigned the value 10, Y is assigned the value 5. Easy values, right? You know, these are two numbers. First of all, we make sure X is more than 2. At the same time, we make sure X is less than or equal to 10. So when you want to do that, first we check for this condition. If it is true, we go inside that. How do I say that we go inside? Because you can see here we have indented the code. Indented the code. That means we have pushed it to the right side. And there we have written the if condition again. What is the second thing that you're checking? Now, in the next example, I will teach you something like the AND operator. Using the AND operator, we can simplify this and write it in one line. All right. Okay, I hope you understand this one. So this says at the same time, X is more than 2. At the same time, X is less than or equals to 10. So it will print actually 10 is greater than 2 and less than or equal to 10. That's also true. So if I run the program, this output will come. Okay, my previous program is running. Yeah, this part is running. I should comment it. Okay, when you are practicing, you practice it. Let's run that. Yeah. So it says 10 is greater than 2 and less than or equal to 10. That is also true. Fine. So that was our last week lesson. This was called nested if condition. Those who didn't understand what is nested if conditions, now carefully observe line number 65. If we take 65, there is if condition. When this condition is true, at the same time, after this condition is true, you want to make sure another condition is also met or another condition is also true. So right after the if condition, you again start another if condition. Not here, not here. Okay, that is wrong. It has to be indented. So this if condition belongs to this particular outside if condition. Now, what I have highlighted in line number 65, if that is true only, this part is going to be tested. And this is, if this is also true, this statement will run. Now watch this. If I give a value, if I give a value something like, it should be greater than 2, right? So let's say x is 1. Okay, now when I give the value x is 1, see this, what happens? X, which is 1 is greater than 2. This condition is not true. This is not true. So you cannot do this work. First of all, this has to be true. Now, this condition is not true because x is 1. 1 is greater than 2. No, it's not. In that case, what we do is, we cannot do this part. Nothing going to happen. If I run the program, there will be no output. Okay, now see, there will be, I will clear the screen first. So you will realize that. Now, when I run, the prompt will simply come to the next line. See, there is no output. The reason for that is this is not getting true. All right. Okay, let's keep it as usual. So our program will work fine. So that is called a nested if condition. Let me comment it as well. So we did it actually up to that point, but today we went a little bit detailing. Okay, now we have another time, right? 25 minutes like left, so we can nicely do that. Right, I'm going to teach you next part is called how to work with the logical operators. Right, logical operators. The logical operators that we will be focusing is and, or, as well as not. Okay, so that is used for combined conditional statements, right? So if you really want, I can put a note as well for you. Right, so this is coming from your handout. Okay, so I will give this one. I think I have already given this to you. This is what it is about, right? So we are going further, right? We're going to, because it is written here, I don't need to write this comment here, right? I'm going to demonstrate the code for you, program for you. Let's take a look at it, right? Okay, let's take again two simple variables. I can take, after doing this one, I will do a particular meaningful example for you. First, let's try to understand the concept, okay? Right, let's take, there are two variables, x and y. As usual, let's say x is 10 and y is 5. No problem. Okay, let's try first how to work with the AND operator or logical AND. Now, in general English, if I'm just telling you, when you want to evaluate something, when you want to do something, when you before doing something, if you want to test something and do it, sometimes you check for multiple things. Okay, you check for multiple things, right? Okay, let's assume you're going to go out of your house. Let's say you are going for about a 2-day trips. Okay, you're going to go on a 2-day trips. Let's say we're going to make sure certain things. Let's say all the taps inside your bathroom, in your kitchen, and for the stock tank, right? Bathroom, kitchen, and the stock tank. All the taps should be turned off. This is one criteria. Number two, all the lights should be turned off except for the at the front entrance, right at your entrance, there's a door, right? Outside the door, there'll be a light normally. That light is turned on, except for that, all the other lights should be turned off, right? Then let's say you need to make sure the front door is thoroughly locked, as well as you want to make sure your front gate is also locked. Now see, I was telling you 4 conditions or 4 things to test, 4 criteria. First of uh, all the taps, right? So I will delete this one anyway, just for your reference. I'm typing all the taps. Okay, they should be closed, right? Then all the lights should be turned off, right? Except for the front door one. Next one, front door and all other uh, doors and windows. So properly locked. Finally, we'll say front gate is locked. We will make sure these things. This is in general, in real life, we do this. So there now, this is now you can confidently go out now because you are quite sure that all the taps are closed at home, right? All the lights are turned off and all the doors and windows are properly closed and the front gate is also locked. Okay, and front gate is also locked, right? Okay, so now in between this one, you don't say oh, oh, oh. You say all taps should be closed and all lights should be turned off except for the front door one and front door and all other doors and windows properly closed and front gate is locked. So see, so we have four things to check, and in between that we need to combine them using and, not o, right? So we need to make sure everything is satisfied. All these things are satisfied. Then only we can confidently go out, right? Okay, I will delete this. Shall I keep this example or shall I delete this? කියන්නෙත් නෑ කියන්නෙත් නෑ. What is this? මේක තියන්නද?
Keep it, sir. Keep it.
Keep it. Okay. Right, now we'll go. Excuse me. That is a new number. Give me a second. Okay, students, let's continue. Okay, I left it for you. You can do it. Let's do a reprogramming example, right? Okay, I'll cut this one and take it down here for you. Now let's see. We say if, okay, x is greater than 2 and you just write in simple English and then you type y is smaller than or equal to 10. Now see, both conditions are there, like in a nested if condition, right? This is one condition, this is another condition. Okay, this is one condition, this is another condition. So in this case, we can say print, we can put a f string, and we'll say, let's say x is greater than 2 and less or equal to 10. And wait, and actually y is less or equal to 10, right? Okay, so this is how I want to display the output. Now run this and see what is the output. See, 10 is greater than 2 and 5 is less or equal to 10. Or both statements are correct. Now my point here is this criteria is true and this criteria is also true. If you check with these values, that is the condition what I'm trying. Let's make one of the condition not true, okay? Okay. This says the value of y should be less than or equal to 10, right? So let's put y is 50. In which case, x is greater than 2, it is true. Because it is 10, this part is true. And the computer is expecting you to have both parts true because it is saying and. It says y, which is 50. 50 is less than or equal to 10. That is not true because 50 is larger. So if you run this program, now you will have no output. Okay, there will be no output. See, there is no output. Okay, all right. So that is how the AND operator works, right? So that's how the AND operator will work. I will comment it for you. Next one, I will show you how the O operator works. Let's say how the O operator works. Before we go to the O operator, I will use this one. And let's do a pass-fail program part, okay? To understand the AND operator further, right? Okay, watch this. I'll take a variable like, again, marks, right? Marks. How to comment? Put the hash mark, put that like this. Automatically, if you want to put the comment, control key plus backslash, sorry, forward slash. If you hold the control key and press this one, you will get the comment. Okay, Asmat? Got it? Okay. Right. Now let's say marks is assigned the value. Now we can get the marks from the keyboard, you know, right? Let's take the marks from the keyboard and we'll say enter a mark, right? So we'll ask the user to enter a mark. So they will type a mark. Okay, right. Now we're gonna say marks should be more than 50 to pass, right? So let's type if marks greater than or equal to 50. Okay, greater than or equals to 50. In this case, we say print pass. Else, we say print fail. I didn't bother to explain again what is this else and all. Right now, if I run this program, see, very simple. When you run the program, it is asking enter a mark, right? Let's type a correct marks, which is 75. It will say pass, no problem. Let's run the program once again. This time we will type a marks 95, no problem, pass. This time I'll type again a marks, which is less than 50. We'll type something like 48, which will say fail. There we go. So you are happy the program is working fine, right? But don't be very happy. See this. Now let's say it is asking enter a mark, right? Normally for a subject, we can score maximum marks 100. The lowest mark that you can score will be 0. Let's say for a subject, you can score maximum mark is 100. The minimum marks that you can score is 0, which means you have to put the 100% effort to get 100 marks, and you can do nothing and you will simply get 0 marks, right? Okay, so let's give, you want to type this student have got 95 marks, accidentally you type a 0. Okay, so which means it tells that student have scored 950 marks. Okay, which is wrong. 950 marks you can't score for a subject. So if I press the enter key, it says pass. Technically, it is correct because it is checking whether 950 is more than 50. 950 is, of course, it is more than 50, so it is saying pass. But in real life, if we take for a subject, we cannot score more than 100. So how can we avoid this, right? Okay, let's make use of. Now let's put a different example. Now see, the minimum marks that a student can score is 0, right? Let's say I type minus 500. If I type minus 500, what happens? It says fail. That is also invalid mark. Okay, right. Now what we're going to do is, now see this code, I'm going to redefine this code in, right? I'll cut that. I will type if. Now see, if marks is greater than or equals to 0, greater than or equal to 0, and marks less than or equal to 100. Now this is the correct range. Am I right? That is the correct range. Yes, බින්දුව හෝ ඊට වැඩි වෙන්න ඕන 100ක් වෙන්න ඕන එහෙම නැත්නම් ඊට අඩු වෙන්නත් ඕන. குறைஞ்சது வந்து சைஃபர் இருக்கலாம். அப்படி இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா கூடிய மார்க்ஸ் வந்து 100 இருக்கலாம். இதுக்கு இடைப்பட்ட வேல்யூ எதுவா இருந்தாலும் அது வந்து வேலிடான மார்க்ஸ் உண்டு. உங்களுக்கு வந்து மேற்கொண்டு வேலையில செய்யலாம். நான் வந்து போட போறேன். මේ කෝඩ් එක මෙතෙන්ට දානවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක true නුත් විතරක් මේ if condition එක මම කරනවා. මේ කොටස මම කරනවා. හරිද? right. දැන් මම මෙතෙන්ට එනවා else part එකට. I'm coming to the else part. Else part for this if condition මේකේ else එක ඔය තියෙන්නේ. මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? Print, I will say this is correctly. I will say I'll put a F also. I'll put a F. We'll type what is the mark that you entered is an invalid mark. Please enter between invalid marks. Okay. Godak lines and hinda bidam, right? So like this. Enter values between 0 and 100. Right. Now let's run the code and see. There we go. We can run that. It is asking to enter marks. Let's put a valid one, no problem. 77, pass will come. Run the program. Let's type 45, fail will come. Let's run the program and let's type 750. I'm sorry. 750. We should get, it says 750 is an invalid marks. Enter values between 0 and 100 kin. So correctly it is prompting you and it is redirecting you to do the right thing. I hope you understand this. This is a real life situation where you can make use of the AND operator. Okay. AND operator. So that is a simple thing that I wanted to explain you. Because in real programming, when you are problem solving, when you're doing actual tasks, these kind of codes that you will have to write a lot. That is why I just took this example and explained to you. Okay. Right. Hope you understood that. Let me keep this one commented again for you. When you're practicing, practice it well. Nice. Right. So we learned about AND operator. There's another one. We can learn that one also. We learn about the O operator, right? Let's learn about O. So when you have O, what happens is either condition has to be true, not both. If one part is true, that will be fine. Okay. Right. 1 second, please. Right. Right. Let's take a look at this one. Actually, OGate, I can explain it using light bulbs and all, but you know, I don't want to make it too complicated, right? So let me make it very simple. Right. I'll make it very simple for you. Let's take again the X and Y values, right? X 10 and Y 5. Now we're going to write something like if X is greater than 2, if X is greater than 2, or X is less than Y. If it is greater than 2 or less than Y. Oh, now I don't know whether you can find this one easy to understand. Watch this. X, which is 10, right? We say is greater than or equal to Y. So it's a simple code I have written. X is greater than or less than. Then balanda run karla. Let's run this and see. 10 is greater than or less than 5, right? So it's like this. Now check this one. X, which is 5. Sorry, X is 10, right? We say 10 is more than 2. Is that true? 10 is more than, this part is true, ne? Okay. Or otherwise, X is smaller than Y, which means 10 is smaller than 5. This part is not true because this is not true because X is 10, Y is 5. 10 is smaller than 1 second, please. Right. So X is smaller than Y. This part is not true, but this part is true. Either part of the condition, if it is true, one part is true, final answer will be true. That is the way this code works, right? I will show you another example now, right? Okay. Now, if I run this code, you will get the output like that. Okay, right. Let's put this code into a real life example, and let's see. Right? Okay. Let's assume an employee Okay, an employee works for a company, he does sales. Okay, right. So sales. So he has done the sales for, let's say, 650,000, 6.5 lakhs. Let's say his uh, attendance is, for example, let's say 84% attendance. Now this company is deciding whether to give 5% bonus, 5% bonus for this employee. In order to get the bonus, the company is having two criteria. Either the person should have done sales more than 500,000, or their attendance must be more than 75%. Right? According to now, this scenario, both criteria are met because he is having 650,000 rupees of sales as well as attendance is 84,000. அப்ப இங்க கோமது லியான்னு கீழே பலம். நாங்க அதை எப்படி எழுதுறேன்னு பார்ப்போம், right? If sales more than or equals to 500,000, this is one criteria. Oh, அப்படி இல்லைன்னு சொன்னா එහෙම නැත්තම් attendance බලනවා. Attendance නේද? Attendance greater than or equal to 75. මේ දෙකෙන් එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ දෙකෙන් එකක් true වුණොත් අපි බෝනස් දෙනවා, right? අපි බෝනස් ගන්නෙ මෙතන බෝනස් කියලා දාමු. දැන් බිඳුව දාලා තිනවා because we didn't start to calculate. So I will calculate the bonus as bonus will be එයා කරපු sales වලට අපි 5ක් දෙනවා. So 0.05 or 0.5 කොහොම තේරෙන්නේ නැත්තම් මේව ලියන්න that is 5යි. හරිද? Right, so that is also possible to write. So bonus will be there. Else, let's say, else apilino print. Say, sorry, no bonus. අපි මේක run කරලා බලනවා දැන්. මම explain කරන්නම්. I will explain this one. අපි run වෙලංගපඩතන වල පාරම වරකා. First we will run the program, right? So it says no, I didn't print the bonus, I'm sorry. මෙතන අපි calculate කරලා මෙතනම print කරමුකෝ අපි, right? Okay. Damu, you have done sales of bonus is right. Then run karama. You have done sales of 650,000. Your bonus is 32,500. Okay, so 5% it is calculating bonus. Right, now what I'm going to do is, let's change his attendance, a poor attendance. Okay, let's put his attendance is something like 50%. So when you run this one, still the person is eligible for getting the bonus because this is true. Sales, he has done more than 500,000. Now, let's make attendance good, but sales poor. Let's put the sales something like 250,000. 250,000 sales. Now see what happens. So you have done 250,000 of sales. Bonus is 12,500. So it doesn't matter. When one condition is met, it is calculating the bonus, right? So here, this is true. This is not true. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this part. Say, watch this. Let's change both of them, right? This time he has a very poor attendance, 20% attendance, and let's say his sales is 150,000. So poor sales also, poor attendance also. In this case, he or she is not eligible for any bonus. So this case only, there'll be no bonus. See this? There it says, sorry, no bonus. So either one, at least one condition, if it is true, final answer will be true. Okay? If one condition is true, final answer will be true. That's what it does. Okay? Is that clearly understood? Right? Okay. So that will be enough for today. So I was able to explain you the selection statements. That means conditionals very clearly to you. When we learned about the logical operators and or, right? And we learned about that. And next week, I'll teach you something called membership operators. That is a tiny lesson. We will use that one with lists as well. It will take about 5 minutes maximum next week. After that, we will go for the repetition structures, which is loops. Okay. All right. So that will be enough. So I will just transfer this file to you today. Okay. So you can take about 2-3 minutes rest, then join for the video editing class, right? Okay. So don't leave till I give you the files. The file is there, students. You can take that. What is the errors? Where is the error? Muhammad is saying, what is the errors? Where is the error? There is no error, eh? It says sorry. Because there is no error here because both of these conditions are not met. That is why this is getting printed. This file is not displayed in the text editor because it is either binary or you are trying to open HTML file, Bata. This is not the web designing class. Try deleting the file and creating a separate file. Okay. Don't waste your time on that. Okay. Okay, guys and girls, have a nice day. God bless you all. See you in the next session then. Take care. Bye.